Hi, and good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you watch this. This is going to be my final video to you, probably. And let's talk about the final exam. Okay, I want to give you a quick walkthrough of what to expect. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started using the copy link that I'm going to give you in the Discord announcement, how to navigate the document, where to write your answers, and then how to submit this. Okay, so this should only take a few minutes, but it will help you stay on track. And I am using some notes because I want to make sure not to miss any of the important stuff. So I planned ahead just a little bit. So where do we start? How do you get this document? Let me do a screen share and I'll show you what you will see when you hit that link I gave you. It's called a copy link. And so when you hit that link, you're going to come to a page like this. All right. When you click it, it's going to prompt you to make a copy into your own Google Drive. So click the blue make a copy button. And when you do that, what it will do is copy this into your own Google Drive. But there are two things you need to do right off the top. Delete the title and change it to CIS50-SP25. Final, your name. Now, do I want you to actually put the words your name? No, I do not. I want you to put your actual name. I'm only saying that because some people are still putting your name. Do I want you to put my name like this? No, I do not. Put your actual name. Do that first because your second step right off the top is to share it with me. Share it with debbiecurdy@gmail.com as editor. Um, just make sure that you share it as editor. And you can put a short note, this is my final or something. That part doesn't matter as much. Because when you share it, it'll send me an email with this information in it. Okay. So that's first step. File name, share it, even before you've written a thing on the document. So now let's take a look at how to navigate this thing. Okay. It is big and it's almost exactly the same document I gave you last week so that you have the questions. I've done a little fine tuning, a little bit of polishing, a little bit of clarifying, but essentially it's the same thing. I've put into place some navigation tools. All right. Now, if you open this doc and all you see is a little table of contents icon up in the corner, just click that. You're going to want to have that open as you navigate this to help you jump to different parts. Okay. So this first section, looking back, thinking forward, these are all the questions that we talked about, but there's a new tab. There's a response worksheet, but we'll get to that in a second. So you can just go down this. It's also got to jump. These all jump to the different sections. It gives you some details. Anywhere in here, if it says submit to the form, let me know where, because I decided instead of having you guys have the document and then have your notes and then copy it to a form and then go back and forth, and some of the answers might be long, so the form won't take it. There's a lot of complications there, right? That's crazy. Let's just do it all here. And you'll share this with me and I'll get all your answers here. We've done that on a few things before. I feel like it's worked out pretty well because then I can add a grade rubric sheet to it and give you your feedback right there on the document so you can see how you did on different things. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So let's go down to this response worksheet and see what this is all about. This is where all your typing is going to happen. Okay. So this is the piece I'm going to look at. As a matter of fact, when I'm here, I'll probably just close the rest of this and come straight to the response worksheet. There's a couple of things to know when you're using this page, all right? You're going to write your prompts directly or your responses directly under each prompt that will link to the different sections. Type clearly in full sentences, label each answer so I can follow your thinking, and use examples and thoughtful reflection where it fits. Now, you can also do a video response. We talked about that. Just make sure that where needed, you complete the responses here. And if it's in your video response, that you clearly label, and there's some information right up on the Looking Back, Thinking Forward page about if you decide to do a video response. The important thing is plan out what you're going to say. So at the very top of this, or near the top of this page, there's a general information section, and it's kind of like a cover sheet for this. So just fill in the details, fill in your name, fill in your preferred email. I know some people are having problems with the college email. And then these last two sections, you can complete these when you're done with this, but make sure to complete it. What do you think your estimated grade is for this final? And then for the class overall? Like, how do you feel about that? What do you think you, based on the effort you put in, what do you feel like you should get? Let's take a look down just real briefly. Each of these sections here, and if you click on response worksheet and open it up, you're going to see that there's some navigation there too. So it should be fairly easy. You can go back and forth, but then there's a link to the section that it's referring to. And on this particular section, you're going to notice now there's not just the question, but there's your choices. So please, 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 on your response worksheet, don't just say A, C, D, whatever, right? You can say, C, maybe by accident, but give me the text so that I don't have to go back and forth on that. Now, once you've got all your responses in and you've looked it over and everything looks great, then what do you do? And I have this at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom just so you can sort of see what's here. Each section, each of those categories has its own section where you can add your responses. So insert response, feel free to delete that. That's just to remind you that's where the information goes. On these big questions, I'm expecting a paragraph or probably 2 to 3 paragraphs on some of these. There's going to be a couple of activities, reflections on the class, yada, yada. It's all the stuff that you saw if you looked over the questions already. And then advice to students taking the class next semester. But here's how you submit it, okay? Because I'm going to come to your document, but I need to know when you're ready. I don't want to do it before you're ready, all right? So when you're ready, on your notes channel, you're going to make a note that says ready to review, one comment about the experience taking the final specifically. I'm really curious, how does this final compare to other finals you've had, to other classes you've had? You don't have to go into a lot of detail, just, a sentence or two. And then the link to your document. Yes, I know you already shared it with me, but make this easy. I can click it right there in the message, jump right over to your document. Way to go. Okay. So that's how you're going to submit it. I'm not going to look at it until you send me that message that looks something like this onto your notes channel. Here's a quick heads up on a couple of things. Okay. So on feedback and grading, I'm not going to probably give you a lot of detailed feedback. We're at the end of the semester. I'm trying to wrap up too. You're trying to wrap up. I'll probably put something on there, but I'd be happy to talk it through with you. I've learned that in a 15-minute Zoom call, we can cover all kinds of things that would take me 2 hours to write out. So I would rather do that. So I'm more than happy to have you schedule a Zoom call with me. I'll give you that option. You might not care about how I got the grade. That's fine too, okay? The other thing is you're welcome to stay on our Discord server. Like, I don't boot people off at the end, so you're not getting kicked out. But if you want to leave, please wait until I message that the final grades have been posted. Because here's why. Sometimes I'll be going through your final or something else, and I'll have a question. And so I'll just ask you, okay? But if you're not there, then that makes that a whole lot harder. So on the Discord server, I'll post an announcement when your final has been graded. I'll let you know. I'll update you on any missing work that I might, as I'm going through everything, that I might come across, just to make sure I didn't miss it. And then I'll also send a message once the final course grade is calculated and ready to be submitted. And I'll give you about 24 hours to take a look, say, oh yeah, that I agree with that, or I think you're missing something. Can we talk about that, or please check? And I'm more than happy to do that. But there's a window. And once I've submitted, if there's any errors, if they haven't been fixed, then that's that. I work really hard to make sure there are no errors, but sometimes they squeak in. So here's the final thoughts, okay? This is your chance to bring everything together that we've explored, questioned, and contributed this semester. Some of our ideas were explicit, like, hey, we're going to study AI or virtual reality or whatever. And some of the concepts that came through emerged a little more organically, right? Especially through the Wikipedia project. But there were a lot of ideas. So this document should reflect 16 weeks or maybe even a lifetime of thinking, exploring, and talking about the ethical side of technology. So take your time, give it your best, make it count. Don't feel like you have to sit down and knock it all out at once, right? You have to document, read through it all so you know what's coming, and then plan it out. Maybe do 2 sections each day or something, whatever works for you. Be honest, be thoughtful. Like I said, make this count. Make the answers your own thinking, because we're moving into a world where that's what we've got, our own thinking to guide us on some of these things. As parting words of wisdom, you may have noticed this quote to the side, whatever side it's on. You may have noticed this quote, and it's interesting. I want to leave you with a quote from The Salmon of Doubt by Douglas Adams. And if you are familiar with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know who Douglas Adams is. He was constantly reminded of how different a place the world was when viewed from a point only 3 feet to the left. Now think about that. Your perspective changes depending on what angle you're looking at things from, right? That's what this class has been all about. Learning to shift your perspective, to see the world of technology, not just for what it can do, but for what it should do, and how our ethical choices can shape that difference. Thanks for being part of this journey. I can't wait to read what you've written. And if you need anything, if you have any questions about any of those questions and you need clarification, I'm just a message away. You've made it this far. So let's finish strong and let's finish well.